The Liberals say they're not going to challenge the judges who said no to mandatory one-year sentences on child pornography. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. We've had Ontario Premier Doug Ford say that Section 33, the notwithstanding clause, should be used against this crazy Supreme Court ruling from last week. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith has said the notwithstanding clause should be used. Conservative leader federally, Pierre Poilievre, has said the same, and Wab Kinew, who is actively campaigning against the idea of Section 33 ever being used, wants this ruling overturned, and he says people in possession of this vile material should not only be locked up for a long time, they should be buried under the prison. People are outraged. Well, normal people are outraged. Liberal Justice Minister Sean Fraser, he's not. He's not bothered at all. In fact, he says that his government will not consider using the notwithstanding clause. He said they will not override the Constitution and Charter rights to deal with this. They'll look at it from other ways. I doubt that they're going to have much success, and I doubt they're going to try very hard. But let me deal with this for a moment. There is no charter right to possessing child pornography or getting a light sentence if caught for doing so. The Supreme Court decision last week was a 5-4 ruling, meaning the justices were split. And the majority, well, they had cases before them of two men from Quebec, individual cases, each of them having hundreds of images, one having also hundreds of videos of children being abused, because that's what each video and image represents, a child being abused. And they were given 1 year mandatory minimums. They challenged that. And the court said, well, we think that under these reasonable hypothetical circumstances, this goes too far. What's that? A reasonable hypothetical is where you don't rule based on the case in front of you. You rule based on something that you dream up. It should be reasonable and it can be hypothetical, but it should have a relation to the law. It should have a relation to the case before you. And in this instance, the judges didn't do that. What they said was, well, what if an 18-year-old had an image sent to him by his girlfriend who's 17, and then he shared it with another friend who's also 18? They would be in possession of illicit, illegal material and face 1 year in jail. No prosecutor would ever take that case to court. No judge would ever rule on that in that way. But that's what they're doing for two men who had images of young children aged 3 to 6 in one instance, and one aged around, or images mostly of kids around age 8 to 10. These are vastly different things. And the fact that the 5 justices, led by Justice Mary Moreau, decided that they were going to do this. 3 of the people that voted in favor of this judgment are women. It is despicable. It brings the entire system of justice into disrepute. And the fact that the Liberal Justice Minister, Sean Fraser, isn't willing to say in strong terms that we need to find a way to overturn this, to consider using the notwithstanding clause, that's what it is there for. Instances like this where the judges go too far. And in this case, they've gone too far. They had a made-up case to overrule a very serious case just because they don't like mandatory minimums. Use the notwithstanding clause. That's what it's there for. That's why we have it. It is a valid part of the Charter and the Constitution, and it is not overruling the Constitution to use that to tell the judges that they're wrong in saying that a 1 year mandatory minimum is somehow cruel and unusual punishment. No, you want to know what's cruel and unusual punishment? The abuse that the children in those images, in those videos had to go through. That is cruel and unusual. And this judgment from these 5 justices of the Supreme Court is a slap in the face to all of those kids. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below. Share this on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.